painful and painstaking work you and your team have done, this unique authority on shootings in the U.S., what do you start to see in the data that perhaps the rest of us don't see or can't see because we are not combing the internet for every shooting in this country?
What we are seeing, I think, and we're seeing it not just in Gun Violence Archive, but we're seeing it in bars where you used to have maybe a bar fight. Somebody got a bloody nose, somebody got a black eye, and now a gun comes out. What we're seeing is more anger. Yeah, you're on social media all the time. I know there are good places on Facebook because I find them, but look at the rest of it. It's anger. Somebody's pontificated that, they believe this. In the past, that would have been somebody howling at the moon and everybody would have quietly gone around them and ignored them. But now there's 2,000 people that decided that, no, you have to have my opinion on this very subject. And that escalates anger. So the baseline of anger is higher. And you have more guns and more proximity to guns, more people carrying guns, more of that, then it's inevitable what's going to happen. And that's the trends that I'm seeing.
It's funny, that is not the answer I thought you were going to deliver. I mean, I thought you were going to tell me that regionally or in this gun, this age demographic, and what you're saying is what you see in the numbers is, I suppose, what we all see right now in front of us across the United States. And you're calling it, I guess, a root cause of so much gun violence. You're seeing people who are furious at each other, fast to anger.
Anger is one thing. We've had anger forever. Proximity to deadly weapons is a different animal. You did not have 400 million guns or whatever the current number is. More people have more guns. There are those that think, you're anti-gun or you're a gun grabber or whatever, and obviously I'm not. But I akin it to what we see with Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They're not against drinking and they're not against driving. They are against that lethal combination. And, we're seeing that lethal combination with anger and proximity. That's no different than intoxication and speed. Two variables that when they come together, people die and they die quickly. And you can't, while I can punch somebody in the face and I can apologize as long as I want to. If I pull the trigger on a gun, they're dead. Or if they're faster than me, I'm dead.
Mark, back to the purpose of the Gun Violence Archive. I mean, we talked about this idea that ultimately you hoped that giving people more information would mean that the country would act on the information and that gun violence would go down. And over the past 10 years, gun violence has not gone down in a very meaningful way. And so have you ultimately concluded that data is not the solution to America's gun violence epidemic? That it's just a new way to understand the depth of it?
Well, it's not going to be the solution. It was never intended to be the solution. It was always intended to raise awareness of the issue and to let people understand and then form their own opinions based upon it. I think our value is in raising the conversation. I think that's where our value is. They may find that 17,000 killed, that's the price of freedom. That's the price of us having, the right to have guns. That's their philosophy. But what I just want them to do is they see the numbers. I want us to be the folks that raised the conversation and made people smarter. And I think we're doing that.
You've succeeded in putting these numbers in front of people.
Yes.
And if you think of this as a very long-term project of putting these numbers before people year after year after year after year after year, then maybe something changes?
How many years did we have the smoking pictures of lung cancer? That's the Surgeon General. How many years did he or she announce numbers for cancer, numbers for all of that, until finally it reached a point? And that's what we're wanting to see.
It's a slow process.
It's a generational process. This did not get here quickly. It is not going to leave quickly.
Well, Mark, thank you very much. We really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for talking.
The
The 7 p.m. City Council session for tonight will commence, and I'll ask our clerk, Ms. Susan McCoy, to please call the roll.
Mr. Volleson?
Here.
Ms. Moon Reynolds?
Here.
Ms. Sanchez Jones?
Here.
Mr. Pretty?
Here.
Vice Mayor Cobb?
Here.
Ms. White Boyd?
Here.
And Mayor Lee.
Here, and a quorum is present. Tonight, we will have the Reverend Amy Hart, pastor of the Mount Zion AME Church, to lead us in the invocation, and following her, I will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand as Reverend Hart comes.
Good evening.
This is how the Lord said we should pray. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Thank you for the opportunity, Lord, of engaging in a conversation with you. We come in the marvelous name of your Son and our Savior, Jesus the Christ, asking you for your divine guidance and wisdom and presence in this Roanoke City Council meeting. We ask that you would expand the minds and the hearts of our city manager, our mayor, our vice mayor, and the other council members, for they need your divine guidance and divine insight in order to continue to make the right decisions concerning the citizens of this city. We gather here for those that will gather to speak to the council. Let them articulate their concerns in a way that will be useful for the upbuilding of the city of Roanoke. We want our city to stand in unity and good for all the people. We thank you in advance for your wisdom and authority and presence that will make itself known in this meeting. Have your way. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight in the chamber, and I also want to welcome those who are watching us by RVT TV. We have a pretty lengthy agenda tonight, so we'll move right on. And the first item on our agenda will be presentations and acknowledgements, and the presentation of the 2023 Neighborhood Partnership Awards. I'm going to call on Alicia Grubb, Chair of the Roanoke Neighborhood Advocates, and Molly Hunter, our Neighborhood Coordinator, and for introductions and opening remarks. All right.
Thank you,
Alicia.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor Cobb, Council. Thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Alicia Grubb, and I'm the chair of the Roanoke Neighborhood Advocates. Every year at this meeting, RNA is tasked with updating council on the status of neighborhoods, and I am proud to report that we have had a banner year, the evidence of which you will see here in a moment with the awards. We saw a new neighborhood group form at Greater Grandview. We saw struggling or stagnant neighborhoods come back to life, and vibrant ones create new opportunities for new neighbors. RNA has 9 active and invested members, and for the first time in 4 years, we were able to divide up and regularly attend meetings of all active neighborhood groups. We also started a new practice of meeting once a quarter in the community so that we could connect with community stakeholders and better support our neighbors. We also saw great successes with the new Spark Plug and Neighborhood Development Grant Program, assisting groups with block parties and National Night Out events, and bigger projects like the new lights on Main Street in Wasena and the Old Southwest Pocket Park. We are very excited also to partner with the City Arts Program for the Neighborhoods Arts Connecting Neighbors program that will roll out in January. As a result of all the great work of 2023, we are excited to announce the 2023 Neighborhood Partnership Awards. The Neighborhood Partnership Program recognizes and honors the outstanding contributions, excellence, and accomplishments achieved by neighborhood organizations and civic individuals who have partnered with city departments, schools, nonprofits, businesses, institutions, and others to make physical or social improvements to our neighborhoods, connect neighbors or neighborhoods with one another, and build the capacity of their neighborhood organization to better serve our community. For our first award, I will recognize our Vice Chair, Stephen Naumchi.
Thank you, Alicia. Greetings, everyone. Our first award is the Neighborhood Outstanding Leadership Award. This award is for an individual who has given outstanding service to his or her neighborhood. The nominees are Ruth Crockett, D'Angelo Reynolds Sr., and Clay McClintock. And the winner is, drum roll everyone. The winner is Ruth Crockett. Ruth Crockett is being recognized for putting in countless volunteer hours in the Mountain View neighborhood. She is highly deserving between her involvement with Clean Valley Council and regularly picking up trash over 10 square blocks, her work to make sure that leaning light poles are fixed, that she's planted trees, and she even hosted a cookout for her neighbors. So thank you, Ruth, for your work. You are very deserving, and you help make this a wonderful place to be.
Is someone taking pictures? I got it. You got it? Oh, okay. All right, I didn't see that. I know that normally it's my job and nobody's here. Just making sure.
Ms. Moon Reynolds, I think you're next.
All right, well,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. Our second award is the Neighborhood Community Partnership Award. This award is for contributions made by business, nonprofit, school, or other institution to improve the surrounding neighborhood or community. The nominees are, drum roll. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gainsborough Southwest and Kathy Carter. The winner is Gainsborough Southwest and Kathy Carter. And as they come forward, through the Young Docs program, young black men are paired with mentors, get exposure to the realities of medical school and the practice of medicine, and learn and practice hands-on first aid and wellness skills. In supporting the Young Docs program's New Roanoke chapter, the Gainsborough Southwest Neighborhood Organization has demonstrated an admirable dedication to the education of Roanoke's rising stars while investing in the community's long-term health and well-being. Even while looking to the future, though the community has not forgotten the importance of its past, the Evans House has stood in Washington Park for many years. According to a 2019 Roanoke Valley Preservation Foundation report, the house is one of Roanoke's earliest structures. Over the last year, Kathy Carter has advocated for the preservation of the house, working tirelessly with Gainsborough Southwest and other community organizations to gather momentum and support. Congratulations to both of you.
Our third award is the Neighborhood Improvement Award. The Neighborhood Improvement Award recognizes a neighborhood project or activity which improves, enhances, and/or maintains the quality of life in their community. Our nominee is Old Southwest, Inc. And drum roll. The winner is Old Southwest, Inc. The Old Southwest Neighborhood Organization is led by Terry McGuire and Mary Ann Mather. Over the last year, the group has transformed an unused lot on Day Avenue into a flourishing pocket park and pollinator habitat. Anyone interested in the project's progress can find regular updates chronicled on the Old Southwest Inc. Facebook page. To make the park happen, the group has worked with Roanoke Stormwater, the city's Office of Neighborhood Services, the Roanoke Neighborhood Advocates, Roanoke Urban Forestry, the Roanoke Tree Stewards, the Roanoke Council of Garden Clubs, Shireen Roxanne Wells, Sharon Burnham, Garden Vitals, Star City Garden Club, Town and Country Garden Club, and Nancy Hughes. The initiative, ingenuity, I can't speak today, and resourcefulness it takes to pull off such a project cannot be understated. Projects like these help make people fall in love with their neighborhoods. Thank you all. Get your picture.
Our fourth award is the Neighborhood Youth Volunteer Award. The Neighborhood Youth Volunteer Award recognizes outstanding volunteer contributions by a single youth ages 18 and under, or group in which improves or positively affects the life and living conditions of individuals in their neighborhood. Nominee is Maya West. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Maya West. Maya West is currently a senior at William Fleming High School and has plans to attend Norfolk State University. She is the winner of a gold medal in the AXA competition sponsored by the NAACP, which recognizes and celebrates the academic and artistic achievement of African American high school students. She serves as the Assistant Secretary for the NAACP Youth Council, is involved in the Delta GEMS, an organization that fosters the development of young African American women, and participates in DECA, a student organization that prepares emerging leaders and entrepreneurs in marketing, finance, hospitality, and management. She also has put in many volunteer hours, particularly for the Henry Street Festival and Drumstick Dash at Roanoke NAACP Voter Registration Drive and Bake Sale. Congratulations, Maya.
Our fifth award is the Neighborhood Communications Award. The Neighborhood Communications Award is intended to recognize excellence in quality and creativity in neighborhood-oriented publications and/or neighborhood communication outreach activities. And the nominees are Greater Oakland Neighbors Group, Clay McClintock, and Neighbors in South Roanoke. And the winner is, now a drum roll, please. There we go. Neighbors in South Roanoke. Since launching its new website and Instagram in April, the Neighbors in South Roanoke, Inc. has created a consistent visual brand and provided timely updates and information via email, social media, and the group's website. In the past 8 months, the group has gained 140 followers on Instagram and increased its email size from email list from 28 to 116. Yeah. It's clear that Neighbors in South Roanoke understands the importance of prioritizing online communication in this digital age. Congratulations.
Our sixth award is the Neighborhood Arts Award, recognizing a neighborhood project or activity which improves the quality of the arts in the neighborhood, enhances the character of the neighborhood through the arts, or improves the surroundings through the visual or performing arts. And the nominees are Simulacrum by Multiverse Mosaics, Chapman and Campbell Avenue Mural by Andrew Williams, and the winner is Simulacron by Multiverse Mosaics. In early 2023, Stephen Paul of Multiverse Mosaics created the mosaic mural Simulacron at 1210 River Avenue Southeast, which helped with the help from Gretchen Coleman and Sonny Purvance. The mural honors the industrial past of the Riverdale area while capturing the life, light, and color that makes it such a vibrant place today. And I had to get 3 people to help me figure out how to pronounce that, Simulacrum.
I don't know myself.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel better now, Mr. Cowell, Joe, Doug, Vivian. I asked everybody in the room, but we got it right, I think, Simulacrum. And I just want to say congratulations and thank you for creating all those beautiful bright spots in our lovely city. They just make it look so nice when we go throughout to see those murals. So congratulations and thanks again.
Our 7th award is the Neighborhood City Partnership Award. This award is intended to recognize any city department or employee that has provided assistance or resources to a project, program, or activity that improved or enhanced a neighborhood's quality of life. Tonight we have 2 nominees, the Homeless Assistance Team and the Solid Waste Management Team, both incredible teams within our city. Drum roll, please. Tonight's winner is the Homeless Assistance Team. The City of Roanoke's Homeless Assistance Team provides one-on-one case management for Roanoke's unhoused community members, and this year alone, they have already housed over 200 unhoused citizens into permanent housing. What you may not know is that they regularly connect with people experiencing homelessness and put them in touch with supportive services, not only in the city of Roanoke, but throughout the region. I need you to hear that, throughout the region. Homelessness affects every single one of Roanoke's neighborhoods in some way. And like the area's many other housing partners, the Homeless Assistance Team goes above and beyond to make sure every neighbor is supported, even those experiencing homelessness or housing instability. Congratulations.
Our 8th award and final award is the Neighborhood All-Star Award. The Neighborhood All-Star Award recognizes the exceptional accomplishments achieved by an eligible neighborhood organization, institution, or individual who received one or more nominations in one or more of the Neighborhood Partnerships Awards. All right, the winner. Can you get drum roll on that? All right. The winner is Mr. Clay McClintock.
Clay has a stomach virus, so he wasn't able to join us tonight. But I'm sure that they are watching, so thank you so much.
All right, let me tell you something about Clay. Clay McClintock is the president of the Noble Neighborhood Watch in Northeast Roanoke. He has organized and regularly checks in with the block captains for his neighborhood. He is a tenacious advocate for the needs of both his neighborhood and the ones that surround it. He has supported the efforts of all other neighborhood organizations in Northeast Roanoke, helping them bloom and prosper. So if he's watching, Clay, we thank you for all you have done to support and coordinate the activities of the Noble Neighborhood Watch and the other neighborhood organizations in Northeast Roanoke. Your hard work is making your community safer and stronger. So join me again in congratulations to Clay McClintock, our 2023 All-Star winner. And let me just congratulate all of our winners, and I want to thank the RNA Chairperson Alicia and Molly for your leadership and dedication to our neighborhood. It's making a difference. Thank you so much. All right, let me come down to the podium for this next presentation. Thank you again, neighborhoods. Appreciate that. Strong neighborhoods make for a strong community, and a strong community makes for a strong city. So thank all of you for what you're doing. All right. As part of this evening's agenda items, it is also fitting to honor our 2023 Citizen of the Year. It is always a difficult decision for the members of the council to select that one special citizen, because so many go above and beyond the call of duty to serve our city and fellow citizens. Our 2023 honoree is very community-oriented. The honoree provided direction to the U.S. Forest Service, Soil Conservation Service, and the Department of Agriculture's research. The honoree demonstrates a commitment to this city and its wildlife through an active and productive engagement in multiple programs, educating and empowering others to nurture and protect natural assets. On behalf of Vice Mayor Cobb and members of Roanoke City Council, I'm pleased to announce that unanimously agreed that Roanoke's 2023 Citizen of the Year is Dr. M. Rupert Cutler. Let me say a few other good things about this great man who I had the pleasure of sitting on that dais with for a number of years, and I learned so much there. Dr. Cutler has been giving back to the community for many years through involvement with numerous boards, such as Virginia's Explore Park, Kiwanis Club, and the Blue Ridge Land Conservancy. He's also devoted time and effort serving 6 years on Roanoke City Council. Was appointed by Governors Warner and King to 2 4-year terms on the Board of Trustees of the Virginia Outdoors Foundation and serves as co-chair of the Kiwanis Signature Project to create the Horton Nature Park to be completed in 2026. As of this evening, Dr. Cutler's name will join the ranks of some other distinguished and outstanding Roanokers who have been honored as Citizen of the Year, such as my good friend, Dr. Cheryl Hartman. Cheryl, stand up there a minute. All right. The late Estelle McCadden, and the president of Virginia Western Community College, Dr. Robert Sandell. Dr. Cutler, I am honored to unveil our Citizen of the Year plaque, which will be displayed with your photograph as Roanoke's 2023 Citizen of the Year. And this plaque will be on display in the library area. It's going to be on display in the library area on the second floor of the Noel C. Taylor Municipal Building, always. So also I would like to present you with your own personalized plaque.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm not through giving you.
I was gonna talk about the nature park.
You're going to have a chance to talk about that. We have a formal resolution which pays tribute to you as the 2023 Citizen of the Year. I need a motion on that resolution.
So
Move the
moved.
resolution. Second.
I'll ask the clerk to read the resolution in its entirety. Hang in there. You know what's coming up.
A resolution honoring M. Rupert Cutler as the City of Roanoke's 2023 Citizen of the Year for his unwavering commitment to environmental stewardship, wildlife conservation, and community service throughout his remarkable life. Whereas Dr. Cutler earned his undergraduate degree in wildlife management from the University of Michigan in 1955, and later achieved a doctorate from Michigan State University in 1972, specializing in litigation related to the management of national forests. Whereas his dedication to environmental causes extended to his roles as the Assistant Executive Director of the Wilderness Society, Senior Vice President of the National Audubon Society, and President, CEO of Defenders of Wildlife, where he played a pivotal roles in shaping policies for conservation and wildlife protection. Whereas Dr. Cutler served the nation as the Assistant Secretary of Agriculture for Conservation, Research, and Education from 1977 to 1980, providing policy directions to the U.S. Forest Service, Soil Conservation Service, and the Department of Agriculture's Research, Extension, and library agencies. Whereas in 1991, Dr. Cutler has been an esteemed resident of Roanoke, Virginia, contributing significantly to the regional community as the founding executive director of Virginia's Explorer Park and the Western Virginia Land Trust, now the Blue Ridge Land Conservancy.
and as an adjunct professor of wildlife sciences at Virginia Tech. Whereas Dr. Cutler has demonstrated exceptional civic engagement, having served on the Roanoke City Council for 6 years, as a founding member of the Western Virginia Water Authority Board of Directors, and having chaired the board for 2 years, and was appointed by Governors Warner and Kane to 2 4-year terms on the Board of Trustees of the Virginia Outdoors Foundation. Therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Roanoke as follows. 1, council recognizes, commends, and applauds M. Rupert Cutler as the 2023 City of Roanoke Citizen of the Year for his many contributions and services to his community to enhance and improve the livability and quality of life in our city. 2, the city clerk is directed to forward an attested copy of this resolution to M. Rupert Cutler. Congratulations.
Okay, we're gonna make this legal. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Ms. Moon Reynolds.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Pretty.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cobb.
Aye.
Ms. White Board.
Aye.
And Mayor Lee.
Aye. And the resolution passes, and again, congratulations, Dr. Cutler. And let me do this. On behalf of the city of Roanoke, it is my pleasure to present you with the highest honor. I mean, the highest honor. Now, it's not a check, though, but the highest honor that we have to confer, which is the key to the city.
That's a real key.
Let me ask the Kiwanis who are here tonight, please stand. My fellow Kiwanis, stand up. All right, let me ask my colleagues on council if they have any comments they'd like to make. Vice Mayor.
Rupe, that was a great update on the Kiwanis Nature Park.
It's right here. Got ready to read.
Surprises are the best kind of all, aren't they? Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Just congratulations.
Pretty.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Pretty.
Just congratulations, Dr. Cutler, and thinking about how fitting it is tonight that we're planning on taking action on incorporating the Climate Action Plan into our comprehensive plan, and really making it part of our planning documents for going forward, and how the work that you did serving on council and two separate times really fed into this moment today. But I'd also just like to point out, and as separate, Senator Edwards was earlier this year, but we have 2 people who've been awarded this year that served under Jimmy Carter. And so I want to thank Jimmy Carter for what he's given the city of Roanoke.
All right. Okay.
John Edwards.
Yeah,
John Edwards, right. Good.
Yep.
yeah. Anybody else?
Yes, I just wanted to say,
Ms. Whitewood?
thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say congratulations, Dr. Cutler. You have really been an asset to this community and to this region for all your hard work and everything that you do. And I'm telling you, that is well earned and a little bit overdue, but we should, we were happy when we did it because you are much deserving, much
Every
deserving.
surprise.
Yes, much deserving. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work.
And I think Bill, don't leave Bill.
All right, Ms. Sanchez Jones.
Dr. Cutler, congratulations. And it's been an honor for me to watch you all these years and giving back to the community, so thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
I just wanted to say congratulations, and also, that was one of the best things I've seen on the dais in my first year, was the surprise on your face. It was great to watch it from this side, so congratulations.
Thank you very much. Ms. Moon Reynolds.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Kiwanians, for keeping it a surprise and getting Dr. Cutler here. I just want to say, as the mayor stated, you are among those that are most deserving, and as the council member Whiteboard said, long overdue. The mayor mentioned it, it was unanimous, although we had some others that were deserving, but we felt that your time had come for all the work. It had. Your time had come to be recognized, yes. Your time had come to be recognized for all of your hard work you've done in the community. You know, as when you was on council, I had the pleasure of being your clerk, and then had the pleasure, after retiring, to be among the Kiwanians to serve with you and to work with you on the environmental committee with the nature park that we're trying to complete in 2026. But, you know, I had the opportunity to be at your 90th birthday celebration. Yes, and so again, congratulations on being the 2023 Citizen of the Year.
Thank you. I won't be redundant, Dr. Cutler. Let me just say that I learned more about trees and birds and the nature sitting beside you on that dais than I've ever learned. I want to thank you for that, and you're a great man, and thank you for all you've done for this city. You made an impact in the city. And now I will turn it over to you to have some remarks.
Mayor Lee, you were an apt pupil. I was teaching you about trees. Now, we enjoyed serving together, and I'm overwhelmed. As I indicated, I came here expecting to give a update on the Kiwanis Nature Park, of which all Kiwanians and our partners are very proud. I worked pretty hard on the statement. I'm kind of disappointed. Oh, it's been a great time. I enjoyed my service on city council, and my wife Brenda is over here. She was on city. Where is she? She's running around with me. Brenda and I'll let you on a not so well kept secret. Brenda and I met when we were both on city council. And you can see what history came along after that. So, I can't really express my gratitude adequately. This is a complete surprise. I have loved every minute I've been a citizen of the city of Roanoke since about December of 1990. I have to, and Brenda will encourage me to say this, thank Bern Ewart for bringing me to Roanoke. And he was, head of the Explore project, and I went on to become executive director of that project, and very proud of that. And then pleased to be the founding executive director of the Land Trust that David Perry is doing such a good job of running now as the Blue Ridge Land Conservancy. But it's just, I won't take your time very long, but I just want to tell you I'm overwhelmed with joy, and thank you all very much.
Everybody stand and recognize our Citizen of the Year, Dr. Rupert Cutler. We can have this stuff right here, but how you gonna do it? Okay.
can you turn that around for some of us to see?
Yeah,
I
so
don't
we
think
can
all
see
it.
it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Is he going to do any remarks on the nature park?
doing
Yes.
this?
I think we're gonna let, Vice Mayor Carl, he's the guy to talk a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll delegate it to Ruth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ruth.
Yeah, I wanted to hear from
ahead.
him
may need a
about the
second.
nature park.
Come on, Ruth.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, will we be able to hear from Dr. Cutler on his presentation?
You heard it, you gonna hear it in a minute.
Oh, okay, just wanted to, sorry. Thank you.
Mayor Lee.
Just wanted to make sure, yeah.
How are we gonna do it from there?
Is that next?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, I can make it. Brenda's used to picking me up off the floor. Well, okay, part two. Okay, well, now, to get to what I expected to do only, and that's the report on the Kiwanis Nature Park. And so, Mayor Lee and honorable members of council, I'm speaking on behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Roanoke. I'm pleased to report we're on track with the creation of a nature park along Horton Branch on the city-owned Forest Park Academy property adjoining Melrose Plaza in northwest Roanoke. In due course, when the improvements we are installing are completed, these improvements will be turned over to the city by Kiwanis, and the area will become a regular unit of the city park system. We thank the city for an ARPA grant of $12,500 for the park. It's being used to foster community engagement by distributing educational materials such as backpacks with nature exploration supplies and large posters. And my dear project co-leader Sherry Hartman has one to show you. Sherry, hold up the poster.
Vanna White.
Right next to Melrose Library, 2.5 acres converted to a nature.
Yeah, and you all know Sherry was Citizen of the Year
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, I guess. Yeah, well, Sherry and Don Witt and I are project co-chairs. Thank you, Sherry. Our intended impacts include improving the water quality of Horton Branch and providing public access to an attractive and safe open space where residents can explore, enjoy, and learn from nature. Our community partners include Goodwill of the Valleys, Goodwill Industry of the Valleys, Roanoke City Library, Roanoke City Public Schools, Roanoke City's Stormwater Division, the Roanoke Redevelopment and Housing Authority's Envision Center, Feeding America's Community Solutions run by Stephen Niemke, Clean Valley Council, and Decca Knights Standing for Equity in the Roanoke Valley, or SERVE. Cox Communications gave us a major donation for the park, and Total Action for Progress, or TAP, and Shiloh Baptist Church are major supporters. City staff members whose help has been essential include Ian Shaw and Marcus Aguilar of the Stormwater Division, and Michael Clark, Renee Powers, and Katie Slusher of City Parks. We thank Mrs. Patricia Maxey, Program Director of Forest Park Academy, for working with us on the timing of work adjacent to her school. Eagle Scout Lucas Bertelball installed a handsome picnic table and benches with backs. And I'll point out that backs are important to us senior citizens. Stools without backs are no good. Okay. We hope you agree that the Kiwanis Nature Park project at Melrose Plaza is a model public-private partnership and will be an important contribution to the ongoing redevelopment of the Melrose Plaza, Melrose Library, Forest Park Academy neighborhood of Northwest Roanoke. The members of the Kiwanis Club of Roanoke enjoy their volunteer work there, weeding the pollinator garden, picking up streamside trash, conducting educational programs with neighborhood children in what we call our club's signature project. So we thank the city for its unstinting assistance in seeing to it that progress is being made daily on this multi-year environmental education project. Thank you. Answer any questions anybody has.
Yeah, this is a true dedicated person. Are there any questions?
Sherry can answer them.
Yeah.
You got a question?
Yes, I do. Yes, sir. In all of what Dr. Culler has said, I just wanted him or Dr. Hartman to mention what will be being created in the nature park for the citizens to enjoy.
I'm sorry.
What's going to be in the park? I think we have an amphitheater. We have.
Well, if we're successful.
Yes.
In coming up in a few years with what's shown on that graphic over there, which is kind of idealized. We've got the Stormwater Division getting ready to reconfigure Horton Branch to make a large culverts under Melrose Avenue so it doesn't flood, and that excess stormwater that comes under Melrose Avenue will be welcomed instead of trying to consider it as a danger. We will create wildlife habitat wetlands for that floodwater to fill and plant aquatic vegetation so that instead of the flood being a problem, it's an asset to the nature park. Then we'll have, we already have a large pollinator garden to encourage people to plant native flowers and other plants that will keep monarch butterflies and honeybees and all the rest in good shape. We're planting trees, and we've put in a picnic table and a couple of benches with backs, and we're building a nature trail, and we hope to have a small amphitheater for outdoor classrooms, and eventually a bridge across the creek and stepping stones across the creek, and lots of trees, lots of flowers, and a safe place for parents to bring their kids. For example, it's right next to the Kiwanis Centennial Playground, and families can come and the kids can play on the playground equipment. The parents can sit in the benches, or they can have a family picnic. It's right next to Melrose Plaza. That's such a booming project that we're proud to be next door to. So those are some of the features. Thank you.
Yeah, and also I think we have an estimated cost of what, since this is our largest signature park we're putting together.
It's a pretty soft number, but the stormwater project, the city project, will probably be in the neighborhood of $400,000. Thanks to Sherry Hartman's expertise in grantsmanship, we've raised, Sherry, over $200,000 in grants? Yeah, and over a period of 5 years or so, it could become $1 million project.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. President. Again, thank you all, and again, thank my fellow Kiwanis for their efforts. And I tell you, that's a group that gets things done. They're constantly working. I'm proud to be a part of it. And thank you, guys. All right. Thank you, Dr. Fuller.
Thank you all.
All right, I'm gonna move on. You know how that goes. I'm just kidding with you, Joe. You know, I'm gonna put you on the spot on that. All right, that's one of the highlights of this job is the fact that you get to recognize citizens who made a major contribution to this city and community. You know this guy there? All right, Madam Clerk, we're on item 15-1.
Yes, sir.
Okay, which is a request of restoration housing to rezone property located at 305 Mountain Avenue Southwest, 809 3rd Street Southwest, from institutional district to mixed-use planning United Development District, subject to the development plan that specifies location of buildings, infrastructure, site access, and building design. Mike Woolwine, Hughes Associates, Architects and Engineers is a spokesperson. There is an ordinance.
Move the ordinance. Second.
Madam Clerk, please read the title paragraph.
An ordinance to rezone the property located at 305 Mountain Avenue Southwest and 809 3rd Street Southwest, bearing official tax map numbers 1020814 and 1020808 from IN Institutional District to MXPUD, Mixed-Used Planned Unit Development District, subject to the development plan and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
All right, the Planning Commission recommends approval of this project. And so I want to recognize Mr. Woolwine, where I thought I saw you. You can come forward and share or make any remarks or comments, and then we'll go down to public hearings. Well, you can just be there in case there's some questions.
Yes, sir. Thank you for hearing us, and I'll be here to answer any questions you may have.
All right, well, I'm going to open the public hearing, and Madam Clerk, are there citizens wishing to be heard on this matter?
Yes, sir, we have two citizens.
All right,
The first is Lynn Hunt.
all right, Ms. Hunt?
Hey, everybody, this is a tough act to follow. Some of you are my goodness gracious. Hi. Hopefully, a lot of you up here know me by reputation. I'm Lynn Hunt, and I'm the owner of the King George Inn in Old Southwest, and have run and established the inn since 2010. I'm a very huge supporter of restoration of old buildings, maintaining buildings, repurposing buildings. And I'm so totally impressed with Roanoke on how forward-thinking we are in repurposing the many buildings that we have that have historic value and other value. In addition, on a personal note, I'm an artist, and when I came in this evening, they said, "What are you here for?" And I said, "Everything." So they were recognizing the community, and I knew wonderful people there. Then downstairs, they were recognizing the artists, and I knew people there, and then I was scheduled to come here. But I have a painting hanging downstairs that is been supported by the Roanoke Artists Council. And we are honoring a citizen that has contributed to the community and made a connection. And that connection is the 3rd Street Coffee House, which is in the Trinity Church, which is up for rezoning for mixed use. And I have been going to the coffee house for 10 years, personally. I'm the in-house artist. I draw and paint many of the performers. I encourage people to come. It's a listening library. It's a place for people to come and listen to amazing music that's performed by our local musicians. It's free of charge. They pass the hat. It gives musicians an opportunity to perform and encourage all of the local residents just to come in, no charge, we pass a hat. No, there's no booze, there's no smoking, it's really an old-time coffee house. When I learned about the church being sold, I was concerned about my coffee house, the place where I go on Friday night to kind of get away from it all. And my understanding is Restoration Hardware, not Restoration Hardware, but Restoration, yeah, I do a lot of that too. Anyway, that the Restoration Housing are going to turn part of that church into housing for senior citizens. Now, that warms my heart, really, because we all know of senior citizens that need affordable housing. We know of the housing crisis in not only our community, but in other communities. And if indeed this church project is going to include senior citizen housing, and it's a very safe location, there's parking, it's easy to get to the bus line for people, and my coffee house, they tell me it is going to be maintained, and so that people will be able to come there. And I do hope that the zoning consider it favorably, because I just can't possibly know why it wouldn't be just a great asset to our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then the second speaker will be Bob Smucker.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm Bob Schmucker. I'm the operations manager of the coffee house, and I did not pay Lynn to say any of that, but I appreciate her thoughts. And I too want to speak in favor of the proposed rezoning of the property at 305 Mountain Avenue. Obviously, the neighborhood has been changing for a number of years, and the options for the church were somewhat limited. And I think what has been proposed as far as the use of that building is a great thing for the city of Roanoke, and a great thing for Trinity United Methodist Church as it is merged with Green Memorial United Methodist Church as well, simply because using it to convert it to housing, which is desperately needed in the city of Roanoke and in many other places, is possibly or probably the best possible use for the building, to be able to continue to use this wonderful old building right here in the heart of the neighborhood, and use it for a really good cause. And I don't know what other options there are, but I want to congratulate Ms. Thornton and Pastor Pazer for coming up with a great opportunity for the city of Roanoke, and I hope you will approve it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, does that conclude?
Yes, that's
All of
all
our
the speakers, yes.
All right. With that, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask are there any comments or questions by members of council? Yes, sir.
I just have one question. I know that this property was on our presentation earlier today on the land bank, and if someone could speak to how this zoning change today relates to that plan and the action that's going forward.
With me is Ms. Thornton with Restoration Housing. She may be able to answer that.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Lee, council members. Yes, I can speak to the land bank and any other questions you have. We have an agreement with the land bank to have a reimbursement for the acquisition of this property. If all goes well moving forward, when we're able to have it rezoned. The agreement was, I think, contingent that we would be providing affordable housing for the city of Roanoke, which is one of their main objectives.
Okay, thank you. I know we had our presentation today, and so this is a real-world example that we have just a few hours later of where this will be a benefit to the city. So
Yes,
thank you.
yes, and I know it's actually outside of the target area that the land bank was originally meant to serve, but I think we we were able to come up with an agreement with the city as well, that this was serving a critical need and that it was okay to be outside of the target area.
Thank you. Just one final clarification. Outside the target area was what you said, but I do believe the land bank is to serve the entire city of Roanoke ultimately. So this is a great plan. Thank you.
Yes. Are there any other questions that I can answer?
Who is that? Mr. Moon Reynolds.
Thank you.
Hi.
First of all, congratulations, Ms. Thornton and Trinity, for fulfilling this need that we have for housing, affordable housing. I noticed in your narrative that you are looking to do the 15 units, and they're for elderly.
Yes.
And that's what I thought was great, than just putting it out there as affordable housing. But it was for the elderly, and that it was within the, I think their income $31,000 to $51,000 dollars annually. And what I wanted to find out is the tax credits. Will you be using, is it historic tax credits?
Yes, ma'am, just
in that?
historic, not low-income housing tax credits.
Right, okay, that you won't be using any lower income housing, but just the
No, ma'am.
historic ones in that. Will you be getting any project-based vouchers from the Roanoke Redevelopment Housing?
We've had conversations with the Housing Authority to potentially set aside vouchers, housing choice vouchers. They would have to go out for an RFP in the spring, so we hope to apply for those.
Okay, good.
Yes, for
And
all
I-
15 units.
Okay, and I was happy to see in your narrative also of the 15-3 will be for ADA compliance
Yes, ma'am.
for them as well. And I just think this is another way to create affordability. I think it's great what you're doing. What I did find interesting was from the Planning Commission with regards to the negative comments where they talked about the lack of need for additional apartments in this area, and that this property not being an appropriate location for housing. And they mentioned a lynching that happened near there, and that they would be losing their neighborhood churches. But I did in turn saw where the positive comments came back, that the proposal adding additional needed housing in an appropriate area while preserving the sanctuary space, and that the project did not dishonor the memory of a person that was lynched near there, and that the proposed change of using enabling upkeep of a historic structure that would not otherwise be possible. So I was glad that the positive comments overrode what was being said negatively. But again, congratulations for y'all's foresight in making
Thank you.
affordable housing out of that structure.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Right,
much.
Good evening.
Now, I got another question for her.
Just more of a comment, really. I just wanted to say something a little different. I support this rezoning, but the journey that a congregation makes from being born to dying and repurposing itself, experiencing new birth, is an extraordinary journey. And I certainly cannot speak for Trinity, but I can speak for churches that I've known that have had to make that decision. And I just want to commend Reverend Pesor, the congregation at Trinity, the congregation at Green Memorial. You're doing an extraordinary and new thing, and making new housing available, keeping that music vibe alive down in the 3rd Street Coffee House. Doing all of those things is just a remarkable thing. And I know there's a measure of grief in this, but there's also a measure of excitement. So thank you all for the great effort you've put into this.
All right. Any further comments by members of council? Madam Clerk, I believe we're ready to vote.
All right. Mr. Volosson?
Aye.
Ms. Moon Reynolds?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Mr. Pretty?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cobb?
Aye.
Ms. White Boyd?
Aye.
Mayor Lee?
Aye. And it passes. Congratulations. Move on. All right, we're going down to item number 2, which is a request of James Cromwell representing trustees of Christ Episcopal Church to vacate an approximately 15-foot wide portion of right-of-way extending south from official tax map number 1022-61-6, approximately 54 feet, and bound by official tax map numbers 1022-616 and 1022-617. And James Cromwell, applicant, is the spokesperson. There is an ordinance.
Move the ordinance.
All right.
Second.
Madam Clerk, can you read the title paragraph?
An ordinance permanently vacating, discontinuing, and closing an approximately 15-foot wide portion of right-of-way that extends south from official tax map number 102-2616, approximately 54 feet, and bound by official tax map numbers 102-2616 and 102-2617, as more particularly described hereinafter, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
And Mr. Mayor, real quickly, this application that is on the dais that's been handed out by Ms. Catherine Gray is the proper application. The measure that the title paragraph was read is the proper ordinance, but she wanted to make sure the council had the accurate application in front of them.
And City Attorney, the difference on the, I can see between them is the application online says it's a 15-foot alley, but the one that we have in front of us says it's a 20-foot alley. That's the
Yes.
only difference that I could find.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. That's noted. All right, the Planning Commission recommends approval of this plan, and so I'm going to recognize Mr. Cromwell for any comments that he wants to make, or he just wants to respond to any questions that may come.
Well, I just briefly say that this is an alley lying between two parcels owned by the church and dead-ending in the church. It's been quietly used by the church for parking for about the last 60 years, and will continue to be so used once it's closed. The matter was being brought before you, was brought to the attention of the church as we are looking to do a rezoning of the property at 1109 Franklin to permit a somewhat changed use of the property, and also to remove the columbarium from what is essentially a residential piece of property and make it part of the sanctuary property. But no one else is being affected by the vacation of the alley. It should have been done about 1963 when the church purchased the adjoining property. It's now the south of the church, and it needs to be done.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. And Madam Clerk, are there any citizens wishing to be heard?
No, sir, no citizens.
All right, there are no citizens wishing to be heard. I'm going to close the public hearing and ask my colleagues if they have any comments or questions.
Just one brief question. So
Pretty.
we're only taking action tonight on the vacation of the alley. And then
Exactly.
you will get to go through the planning commission process all
There'd
over
be a
again.
zoning issue once we have a replatted piece of property, and this would become part of the property, yes.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I do have, I just need for clarification. The application that we received, City Attorney, it is to preserve a 20-foot alley, correct, instead of 15? Okay, so the paragraph in the measure itself will be corrected, where you have approximately 15-foot wide, that's mentioned on the second page, and under therefore be ordained, it still says approximately, so that will be corrected.
That's what's closing, approximately 15.
So the closing is still approximately,
15.
I'm just trying to make
Ms.
sure.
Catherine Gray is here to
Okay,
speak to that.
okay. So, just want to make sure I'm clear.
Good evening.
Good evening.
What was in the package showed that additional 20-foot as being closed, but that is not what is being requested. So the new map shows only the area in yellow as being closed. That's the 15-foot wide alley. And you will notice that the 20-foot below that remains part of the alley system, so that the trash trucks and things like that can make the turn at that corner.
Right, so that was part of the 60, okay. Yes, I just wanted to be clear. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir.
we ready to call the roll?
All right. Mr. Veloso?
Aye.
Ms. Moon Reynolds?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Mr. Pretty?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cobb?
Aye.
Ms. White Boyd?
Aye.
And Mayor Lee.
Aye. And it passes, so you're okay. All right. Item number 3 is the request of Dolly Davis Dahlberg, representing Peter J. Appel, to vacate a variable width portion of a right-of-way located adjacent to 3149, 3155, and 3161 of Stone Ridge Road Southwest, bearing official tax map numbers 108071-8 and 108071-7 and 108071-6 respectfully. Dolly Davis Dahlberg is the applicant's spokesperson. There is an ordinance.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, please read the title paragraph.
An ordinance permanently vacating, discontinuing, and closing an approximately 590 square foot wide portion of right-of-way that extends west from official tax map number 1080718, approximately 189 feet to official tax map number 1080716, as more particularly described hereinafter, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
All right, thank you. The City Planning Commission recommends approval on this matter. And so I'm going to recognize, is Mrs. Dahlberg here? All right, you can come down and just respond to any questions that council may have, or you're welcome to make a brief comment if you choose to.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. It came while we were doing some field work, doing some improvements for somebody to improve their home for age in place. We found out that the right-of-way didn't follow the center of the road, and it skewed off to one side. So it was basically on the edge of one road, and it was 14 feet into the 3155 property. So when we did our field work, we realized that we couldn't do the improvements the way the right-of-way was, and we were asking if we can realign that right-of-way to the center of the road, which would allow ample space on either side and make it congruent with the center of the road, and therefore allow the family of the Appels to do the improvements and for the age-in-place garage and protective entrance.
All right. Thank you. Let me, are there any other citizens?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask my colleagues on council if they have any questions or comments. Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Moon Reynolds?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Mr. Pretty?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cobb?
Aye.
Ms. White Boyd?
Aye.
Mayor Lee?
Aye. And it passes, so Ms. Dolberg,
Thank you.
okay. You win. All right. Item number 4 is a request of the City of Roanoke to consider an amendment to the City Plan 2040, the city's comprehensive plan adopted in 2020, to add the Climate Action Plan. Catherine Gray, agent, is a spokesperson. There's an ordinance.
Move the ordinance.
All right, Madam Clerk, please read the title paragraph.
An ordinance approving the Climate Action Plan and amending City Plan 2040,
the city's comprehensive plan to include such climate action plan and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
All right. The City Planning Commission recommends approval on this matter. And I will recognize Ms. Gray. Catherine, if you're here.
Yeah, and Mayor, I'm just going to kind of do the intro, and then they'll be available to answer any questions. You all may recall that this came before the council some months ago and had a full airing of what was in the plan, and at that time, it was desired to integrate it and ultimately be able to amend the comprehensive plan rather than a standalone document. So that's the work that has been going on. The document remains nearly the same as what it was when it was presented to you all. So I just want to call attention to a couple of things that kind of highlight some of the changes that were made in order to accomplish what it is that you sought in order for the Planning Commission to ultimately make a recommendation on amending the comprehensive plan to include it. So throughout the document, there are now several sections that kind of spotlight how the Climate Action Plan relates to City Plan 2040. And on page 12 of the document is probably the biggest change, I think, in it, which is it identifies information regarding the Climate Action Plan, but more importantly, it takes the 6 guiding themes that are in the city plan, and it identifies the sections of the Climate Action Plan that integrate those components. So, for example, if you look at healthy communities, which is one of the building themes, and you look then, it identifies that chapters 2 through 4, chapter 8, and a number of other items integrate the 2 plans together. So that was one of the steps that was taken in order to, again, be able to integrate it better so that it could be adopted as a part of the comprehensive plan. And then finally, just as a reminder, the plan still contains 4 primary goals, and those goals are, number 1, reduce municipal emissions by 50% by 2030. Number 2, reduce community emissions by 50% by 2032. Number 3, heat adaptation and resiliency. And number 4, decarbonize transportation. So those goals remain as they were presented to you all. And with that, as was mentioned, the Planning Commission has recommended approval of the amendment of the comprehensive plan to incorporate the Climate Action Plan. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have, or the staff will be happy to answer those as well. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, are there any citizens wishing to be heard?
I have 2 sign-ups.
All right.
The first is Virginia Sweet.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor Cobb, and esteemed members of the council. I am here to speak in support of the incorporation of the Climate Action Plan into the City Plan 2040. It is my hope that by commingling these 2 plans, that when any planning commission, city administration, or the council, or a developer is looking at those 2 documents commingled, they will see a need to integrate and respect both positions of climate change and economic development. I recently attended a presentation by Dr. Theodore Lim's urban planning students, master's students at Virginia Tech. They are moving beyond the rational model, which is a linear model, determining land use as highest value is its highest economic value, and they're moving toward a nonlinear plan which really incorporates the needs of the community that are surrounding and abutting that proposed development. And this does move this to a new paradigm. I think the upcoming urban planners will be a great asset as we continue to change our climate, our planet, well, that's not right, but our planet encounters all of its issues. But waiting for them to graduate and work their way up the ladder may be a little too long when we look at the Climate Action Plan, seeing we're in a crisis within 7 years, we need to act. So it is my hope that this council will incorporate the two as a beginning step to a paradigm change, that offering incentives for developers to use green roofs, smart surfaces, and save trees, work around those trees, and plant new trees will be a step in the right direction. It's going to be a bold step, but I really do hope that this council will be the one to take that step. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have one other speaker, but I don't see her. That is Frida Cathcart. Oh, there she is. Sorry, Ms. Cathcart, didn't see you.
Hi.
Good evening.
I think, did you need to reset the timer? It says 1:24.
You can go ahead. We don't-
Okay. Frida Cathcart, Soil and Water Conservation District Director, representing Roanoke City on the Blue Ridge Board. I am so excited about this plan and integrating it into the comprehensive plan. This is a really important step of showing investors, developers, that we are serious about being a climate-resilient city. I mean, this is showing us, we've been an all-America city before in the past, and this is putting us on the path of doing it again. This is the type of work that needs to be done to protect Ed Walker's investment and work in Riverdale. This is exactly what needs to happen. I'm so excited about it, you can just tell. The flood resiliency plan, that was excellent. And you could see the real consequences of having a plan is saving the city $3 million. That's not chump change. That's a big deal. That frees up money to spend in other areas, which I could name a whole bunch of places I bet you guys could spend that money. But I just wanted to say, just what an excellent job that Leanne did on this and the staff did. And thank you. I don't want to take up any more time. I know it's late, but of course I'm in support of this, and I hope that you all will vote and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Was that our final speaker?
Yes, sir. No other speakers on that matter.
All right, with that being said, we're going to close the public hearing, and I will ask for comments from my colleagues on council. Hearing none, Madam Clerk, we ready?
I have some questions too.
Go ahead.
It's fine. Bob, could you highlight what the 2024-2025 work plan is? I do have a few comments, but I was hoping to give the public just a little bit more about, like, what, either that or someone else from city staff, about what we'll see over the next 2 years with this. So I watched the Planning Commission meeting and read their document, and but I was interested because there were some concerns that were brought up about, who was reached out to about this, what were developers approached, or our Economic Development Department. And I know that our Economic Development Department has been given an opportunity to provide feedback, and the community's been engaged with this for nearly over a year now, as we opted on council to make it take more time to integrate it into our comprehensive plan completely. But there is concern about what concrete actions might be in here that might prevent things going forward. And from reading the document, I really don't see anything that truly changes, but setting the stage for what this council will take actions going forward. And so I was hoping that city staff could just talk about what are some of the work plan actions for the 2024-2025 plan year. I mean, it took me a few minutes, but I found it in here.
Yeah, let me give kind of the quick theoretical sort of big picture answer, and then ask Leanne and Wayne to give you the detailed piece of it. And because I want to kind of hone in on something that you indicated in there, which is, we, in our comprehensive plan tries to balance a lot of different, similarly, seemingly competitive interests in order to achieve the community that we're all striving to achieve after extensive community conversation and so on. And, probably one of the best examples I can give is as we, for example, repave major corridors, we did this in Brandon, we're doing it over in the southeast right now, where, we are still obviously doing things to accommodate vehicular traffic, but we're doing it in a way that then adds other modes of transportation. So those are examples where we have active policies in the city that say that we should promote multimodal transportation, for example. That is not at the consequence of also accommodating vehicular traffic. And I just use that as one example of how our plan continually competes, balances those competitive interests, or again, seemingly competitive. So nothing in the climate action plan says, don't develop anything in the city anymore. That would actually have its own dire consequences. What it says is, let's look at how the community changes over time and with time in a way in which it becomes more resilient as it goes forward and responds to the objectives, the goals that I mentioned earlier. So that's my big picture sort of. It isn't as if now the climate action plan somehow supersedes anything that we had in terms of economic development or development. It actually complements that, and it just demands that we continue to work as we have been all along in ways that are more responsive to a variety of goals and objectives as we move. So that's the big picture. I'm going to ask Leanne and Wayne to sort of talk about the specifics of what's on the horizon in the next year or two.
Good evening, Mayor Lee, Vice Mayor Cobb, and City Council. You had asked about the work plan over the next couple of years, and I think that now that the plan has been written and viewed, and we've gotten some public comments. Those are all available online that we got from the public, the survey results that we did at the very beginning. Now we can start to really do the work and move forward with the performance contracting and move forward working with AEP on getting those streetlights converted. Those are two of the main things that we can do to reduce our municipal emissions. One of the key things that we need to start doing is working with the community, working with some of our largest employers, our largest industries, and working collectively as a group to increase knowledge and also to share information on reducing the barriers to action. The Inflation Reduction Act funds, the CPACE program is going to be quite an asset. We already have that. We're in the process of moving to the state plan in the next couple of months, which will make it easier for developers and lenders because there'll be one set of rules for the whole state of Virginia instead of each municipality having their own program. So that's something that we'll be doing, working with our departments, our city departments, just to really start integrating climate action into day-to-day, having it be part of the climate or the capital improvement projects, kind of weighing, being able to weigh different values and different things. Similarly to the chart that I've showed you so many times at this point, it's the if-then, right? If we make choices now proactively to curb emissions, then in the later years, we will be much better for it as a society. We'll be much more resilient. We'll be much more healthy. But if we make choices contrary to that, then our generations that follow us will have a much harder time. So I think that kind of, in a nutshell, are some of the big things that we need to do. As far as concerns of development, we certainly want to keep developing. We want to do it in a really smart way that we weigh looking at the natural resources that we have, the ecosystem services that they give with development. So that we can create some win-win opportunities. And again, just like COVID showed us, there's going to be a lot of disruptions in supply chains and workflows. And our businesses need to prepare for that as well. And so ultimately, some of our, the development, the outdoor construction industry, those day-to-day tasks are going to change for them significantly in the next 15 to 20 years. Their work days might be different. Development in itself might start to look different. So it's just going to be a process of change, but, we now have the ability to get started, and that's very exciting.
Thank you. Mayor Lee, I'll finish up my remarks. First, thank you, Leanne, for the work that you put into this document, both originally and then at the time when this council decided. And I should thank Councilmember White Boyd, who spoke up with me to have this sent to the Planning Commission, and for your work on reworking the document to make sure that it worked appropriately within all of our departments in the city, so it could be part of our comprehensive plan. I think there are a couple things that you noted on that are incredibly important to consider, that this is not, any kind of end. It is just the beginning of what this council needs to be doing, and there are actionable steps that we need to be held accountable to. You spoke about the converting of streetlights, and you think about what we need to be doing with our APCO contract when we're renegotiating that to make sure that's done on a faster schedule or done appropriately to even just fix the streetlights that we have. But thank you for the work that you've done on this, and I thank the Planning Commission, and I'm excited to see this move forward and it be updated as time goes on. Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, I believe we're ready to call a roll on this.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Moon Reynolds?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Mr. Pretty?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cobb?
Aye.
Ms. White Boyd?
Aye.
And Mayor Lee?
Aye. And the issue passes. Item number 5 is a proposal of the City of Roanoke to lease city-owned property to the Blue Ridge Zoological Society of Virginia Incorporated to operate and maintain the Mill Mountain Zoo. There's an ordinance.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, please read the title paragraph.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a lease agreement with the Blue Ridge Zoological Society of Virginia, Inc. for the lease of city-owned property located in the city of Roanoke, being the top portion of the land commonly referred to as Mill Mountain, designated as portions of Roanoke City official tax map numbers 4070507 and 4070521 and 4060505, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
All right, I want to recognize the city manager for any comments he may have on this.
I guess the only thing, just so everybody knows, obviously, what this involves, so the city actually, of course, owns and has owned for some time the land where the zoo is located. And so we've had a lease agreement by which it is a partnership of them, in effect, running the zoo, and then we are a partner with them in both contributing financial resources, which the council does, as is itemized in the lease, and also some on-demand in-kind services, forestry, and some other types of activities. So this is a renewal of that lease agreement. We will still be talking further about support of the zoo as one of our outside funding agencies or outside agencies as we go through the budget development, but this is really to take care of the operational piece in terms of the responsibilities and the ownership, if you will, associated with it. And I think, Michael's still back here as well, so I know he can answer any other specific questions that you have about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, are there any citizens signed up?
No, sir, no.
All right. I'm going to close the public hearing. And are there any comments by members of council? All right, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Since we have the executive director of the zoo here, I thought it might be good to hear just a couple highlights of, because I know a lot of exciting things have been happening, and
Nikki was hiding back there, I didn't see her. I looked back for Michael, so.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays. In celebration of the Renew the Zoo Chew Christmas morning for y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Lee and Vice Mayor Cobb and members of City Council. My name is Nikki Buger, and I'm the Executive Director of Mill Mountain Zoo. And on behalf of all of us at the zoo, we want to thank Michael Clark for being so responsive and supportive all these years. We thank the Forestry Department for not only grooming our robust canopy of gorgeous mature trees, but also mitigating trees that could potentially damage our grounds, buildings, and exhibits. We thank the Transportation Museum for smoothing out and expanding our employee parking lot, making it safer and more accessible. We thank our first responders, the Roanoke City Police Department, for keeping our mountains safe, and the Roanoke City Fire Department for working with us on drills and safety measures regularly. Thank you to our city manager, Mr. Cowell, for being so accessible, transparent, and open-minded. We thank Mayor Sherman Lee and the members of City Council and Vice Mayor Cobb, who have visited our zoo and witnessed the transformation of the historic Mill Mountain Zoo over the last 3 years. If you haven't been to our zoo lately, I invite you all to join me on a private tour so I can show you the changes. In the past 3 years, Mill Mountain Zoo has made well over $1 million in facility and infrastructural improvements, and we've added value to Roanoke City. In only 3 years, we've completed 3 enormous capital projects, including the Black Bear Night House and Observation Deck, and 2 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art exhibits. We have repaired and opened the Python House, installed our first green roof, created the new Carillion Children's Curiosity Corner, and abated decades of deferred maintenance, all while accomplishing a successful public campaign to renew the Zoo Chew, the iconic Zoo Chew. We've even muraled the Zoo Chew train tunnel for the first time ever. In addition to investing in physical repairs, improvements, and new exhibits, we've also initiated 2 endowment funds, which is another first for the zoo, and that's to ensure financial security for the zoo for the long haul. We're still investing in that, so we're not actively taking funds from that yet. While we have come a long way and made enormous accomplishments over the last 3 years, we have a lot more to do and a long way to go. And we need your support, your continued support. Mill Mountain Zoo is a collaborative partner and an asset that adds value and vitality to the region, and our trajectory aligns with Roanoke City's goals, which is livability, education, and economic development. We are grateful for your support, and on behalf of all of the varied species at Mill Mountain Zoo, we thank the City of Roanoke and all its departments who so willingly and happily work with us. We can feel your pride and affection for our small but mighty zoo. Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you. Let me say that I'm glad to hear some things are happening in the zoo. The zoo has been in the media a lot lately, not our zoo,
Right.
but some zoo neighboring, and I mean, the news is not good from what we've been hearing, so I'm glad to hear good news that coming from what we're doing. And I just got one question, the private tour trip.
Yes.
Do we need to set that up with you?
Yes.
Okay,
If you want all the access, then you'll want to set that up with me.
okay. All right.
And you'll be proud to know that we're accredited by the Zoological Association of America, which upholds the highest national standards in animal welfare, ethics, and safety. We're also governed by the USDA. Our USDA agent is the toughest in the nation, and so you can, that's a testament to our excellent animal welfare and the work that we've put into bringing our exhibits up to standards.
Thank you, that's good news. Good news, all right. Anybody else? Mr. Pruitt?
I have a question. You might be able to answer. This is for most likely Bob. Well, the annual contribution of $33,120 that we're doing, but I remember we changed what our contribution was this past year. I don't remember what it was before that. What was it this year, and then what?
Yeah, so the 33,000 roughly number that's in the lease is the same number that's in the lease. Last year, what we did is we requested, and you agreed to contribute an additional 50,000 to that. So we have our asks out to our funding partners, and so there'll be another number coming forward that they'll be requesting that we'll evaluate through the rest of the budget development and stuff.
So it's 33 is a renewal of the same from the numbers
Correct,
before?
correct. Yeah.
And so without any kind of increase in it for inflation or anything?
Correct. That was
Makes-
part of the
okay,
reason
all right.
why we requested and why you
That
approved
makes
the
sense.
50, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, we're ready to call the roll.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Moon Reynolds?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Mr. Pretty?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cobb?
Aye.
Ms. White Boyd?
Aye.
And Mayor Lee.
Aye, and the ordinance passes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all.
Okay.
I have a friend who used to drive this.
All right, item number 16 is hearing of citizens upon public matters. Do we have any people that are signed up?
Yes, we do. We have
All right.
2. And the first speaker will be Russell Potter.
I guess this is an exception to the rule, saving the best for last. Kind of stretching it. This is my 75th birthday this year. And this is also something else that's unique in Virginia history. There has never been a chess club. I'm here on behalf of the Roanoke Valley Chess Club. There's never been a chess club in the state of Virginia who has had unobstructed attendance longer than the Roanoke Valley Chess Club. Not one anywhere. And I know, I've gotten around. If I can read this briefly, it's just a page at the top of another one. Is that okay? Is it? Okay, all right. World War II was over, and Nelson Bond and his wife were growing tired of the expense and crowding of the Hollywood, California lifestyle. They began searching for a more affordable, more relaxed place in which to live. They were impressed with Virginia's Shenandoah Valley, both for its natural beauty and its affordability. We often overlook these things, I think. This couple settled in Roanoke shortly after World War II ended. Nelson was a prominent film script writer as well as a publisher of highly acclaimed science fiction literature, and his work is still seen and published today. Nelson was also an avid bridge player as well as an accomplished chess player. But in those days, there were no chess clubs in the Roanoke area. That's the first year I was on this planet, 1948, no public chess clubs. Nelson felt challenged to change that situation. I like that Roanoker can-do attitude about a lot of things. We may not have stuff perfect, but, we're just too ornery to die, as one guy down on the market told me one time. Says, "Oh, you don't have to worry about us. We've been in, we've been out, we've been down, but we always get back up. We're just too ornery to die." God, I love that. This has been my home virtually all of my life. Nelson checked many buildings, and he found some. And the first title was Roanoke Chess Club. There were no public chess clubs, but there was a place where affluent people could go and play chess some over at the Elks Club. That's not exactly public access, and it's not exactly the kind of public access that I've championed in all the chess tournaments I've directed, played in, et cetera, and clubs I've promoted over my life. But what Nelson did was, and the first time they named it, it was the Roanoke Chess Club. But then guess what? Roanoke County got into what we had. Okay, and then they changed the name to the Roanoke City County Chess Club. But then there were lots of activity out there in the county and areas beyond. And for some time now, it's been the Roanoke Valley Chess Club. We are proud to state here tonight that the Roanoke Valley Chess Club is the oldest functioning chess club in Virginia by far, dwarfing the service records of chess clubs in Richmond, Norfolk, Arlington,
and all other chess clubs in the entire state of Virginia. And that tier south of Northern Virginia has a lot of bodies, and Tidewater does too. A lot of sailors in their off time like to play games, okay? And we beat them all. We just stuck with it. We are an amazing 75 years old as of this year. That's also my age. Our membership is open to the public. Currently, we meet on Wednesday evenings at the public library on the campus of Patrick Henry High School. Newcomers are allowed 3 free visits before our modest dues are required. We currently have over 20 paid members. We typically have 75 or more chess players and visitors during a regular club year. Our membership is modest. It's not an elite private club. This is not a Roanoke County suburban country club. This is just folks. Patrick Henry High School, they're at the library. Everybody's got their feet on the ground. Nobody has airs. But we welcome it to everybody, everybody. There are no restrictions on attendees whatsoever, but there is no alcohol allowed, no smoking allowed, and basic polite behavior are all that we ask of people. In conclusion, we want to thank Roanoke City Council for your support of the Roanoke Valley Chess Club over these past 75 years. The mayor was very helpful on some stone tables you might remember a few years ago, and he found some really excellent places to put them. A lot of them were in needy areas where kids didn't have much access to chess. Stone tables, and you can play chess there just like in the elite places in New York City where I've been, and they have those. They have those, and now we have a few of our own, by golly. Okay. Well, I will almost certainly not be available for the 100th anniversary of the chess club. I do feel certain of its bright future given by the citizens of the Roanoke Valley. And we want to thank you very kindly. Thank you for having us here. And we appreciate all that we continue to do for each other. And I think it's something to be proud of. It's the type of organization that maybe is not a big powerhouse economically, but it helps the strength, the appeal, and the happiness of people that live here. Roanokeers have been through so many travails, floods, Victory Stadium, all kinds of setbacks, the closing of the Viscose plant, loss of all those jobs, closing of GE, tons more jobs lost, cutting back of the railroads, more jobs lost. I mean, how many ways can you slug a city when they're down? Last thing I'll say is I was talking to a fruit vendor, and he's the one that came up with that phrase. There's an area down in the market, if you look up and around the building, there's the Star. Guess what next year is? The 75th anniversary of the Mill Mountain Star. So you got a 75 for the Roanoke Valley Chess Club this year, and the Star next year. Okay, something to be proud of. And yet, still the biggest star in the country on any city, and Roanoke is still the only city totally surrounded by mountains inside their city limits. Those are other things to be proud of. So this is basically what this is for. It's just to feel proud about Roanoke and to remember that grin that guy gave me. It was pithy, and it was better than anything I could do. He's the one that used that phrase. He said, "You ain't got to worry about Roanoke." I said, "Really?" That was right after the railroads were having a lot of trouble. He said, "Nah. We're just too ornery to die." It's the first time I'd ever heard anybody use that usage. I've been to speaking contests, and I had a few years in politics, trying to forget, but at any rate, it just hit me right here because it was so authentic, just authentic. You didn't have to get it out of him. You didn't have to have polished Caesarean speeches. Just an ordinary guy telling the truth. I'm sorry I didn't hold it together, but I just wanted to let you know that lots of people appreciate things that this city has done. And a lot of cities wouldn't have come back and bounced back as much as we have. So I tip my hat to the folks here too, and everywhere that make this city work. And that's why we're here. So we sent a big Valentine through the mail to City Council. Thanks for all your help. And we'll try not to be too much of a bother in the future. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Our next speaker.
Every Wednesday night. At Henry High School Library, the library right there. Thank you
Good.
so much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Deborah Carter.
Follow that.
Everything has been so upbeat tonight, and I really hate to bring the atmosphere down, but I'm going to. I want to speak about the officer-involved shooting that happened where I lived, or still live. First of all, I want to say that I'm glad Officer Camper is okay. But I want to discuss what happened and the actions of some fellow officers. I was taking a midday nap and was awakened by the sound of gunshots, shouting, and I looked out my window and saw 3 of my neighbors sprawled on the ground. And just as I was about to call 911, the sound of sirens pierced the air from every direction. I immediately knew it had to be an officer-involved shooting because police never respond that quick. I go out on the balcony and I see the officer being loaded on the ambulance, and I glance down to where I see a crowd of cops, and I realize there's a man on the ground, and CPR was being done. Then they all got up and left. It was then I realized they just killed this man. That man's body laid uncovered in the front of my building for hours. I went out to check on my neighbors who I saw sprawled on the ground to see if they were okay. It was then that I learned that one of their friends that was visiting had just gotten her car when the shooting happened. Her car had been shot. Luckily, she was not. I asked one officer, "Do y'all not carry sheets anymore to cover dead bodies?" He says, "No." So I said, "So y'all just traumatize the whole community by leaving dead bodies in full view of everyone?" He responds, "It's more important to protect the integrity of the scene than it is to worry about traumatizing y'all. You don't have to look at it." Had it been your officer that was killed, would she have been left laying there uncovered for everyone to view? The answer to that is no. She would have either been covered until the investigation was done, or she would have been whisked away in the ambulance trying to save her life. She would not have been left out there for public viewing. Uncovered until it got dark. Why bother covering the body up then? It's the principle. It's one thing to know there is a dead body laying under a sheet and seeing the dead body laying there. People had their grandkids there. People across the street on Melrose Avenue, they have kids in those houses. I went across the street. You could see the body in plain view from across the street. That is unacceptable. Do better. The reset team came into my building. Half of us had no clue they were even in there until we went to leave our apartments and seen the little notice under our door. One neighbor, he seen them talking to his neighbor, so he went on into his apartment expecting them to knock on his door. He saw the notice in his door. And he was outside when it happened. So this reset team, I want to know what their function is and what they actually do other than put notices in our door. Roanoke Housing, they put out a notice and they brought forms for people to fill out so that they could get any type of mental health treatment they needed. It's completely unacceptable. I don't care which agency is in charge of a scene. Adding trauma onto an already traumatic situation is not how community policing works. And it's certainly not how you foster trust in police. And you certainly didn't need an officer aiming his long gun at residents on the balconies. I thought it was a camera until another officer said, "No, Ed, it's a gun." Because I thought they had a camera out there to do facial recognition in case there was any connection to that man that was out there on the out there on the sidewalk. But it turns out there was no connection to anyone at Melrose Towers. They seen the man walking up Melrose Avenue, and then 2 undercover police cars pulled into our parking lot and were sitting there until he approached on the sidewalk, still walking up Melrose Avenue, not on our property. It was once he got near the bus station or bus stop that they decided to engage the man. They chased him up on our property. The officers are being hailed as heroes. Preventing a man from getting into a locked building? Because on the weekends and after 5 o'clock, you need a key fob to get in those doors. Why did they try to approach him there at Melrose Towers? You have National Pools right next door with fencing. You could have corralled him in there. What about Burger King? What about the cemetery? You're not going to injure anyone at the cemetery. They're already dead. And I want to know how y'all would feel if it happened on your doorstep. Because it happened on mine. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Carter. Let me say that, and we're going to forward this on to the city manager, but from my understanding, that there was state police involved in that, investigating what had happened, and their procedures may be different from I think the city's procedure in terms of covering up bodies and those kinds of things. But we'll pass that on to the city manager, and hopefully he and Chief Booth can add some clarity to that. But I do understand how you feel with a dead body just laying there like that, and I know there are situations where the investigation goes on and people want bodies, just things to stay as they are, but just covering up, I agree. I think that's a little too much, especially in areas where you got children and those kind of things that's walking around there that's in those apartments.
It's an elderly and disabled building. You have people that have never been subjected to that before. Me, I was a CNA. So death isn't new to me. I've seen enough videos online of police-involved shootings and whatnot. No one in my building has a problem with what happened because it was a justified shooting. Because upon talking to my neighbors that were outside when it happened, they seen the man running up. One of them actually seen him pull out the gun and fired first. Okay, no one has a problem with what happened. It's what happened afterwards. There was no need to have officers with long guns because that was making me feel like, is there an ongoing threat that I should know about? Why wasn't there a reverse 911 call when they spotted the man walking up Melrose Avenue?
Okay.
There should have been a call and alert put out so that my neighbors wouldn't have been outside when it happened. It was completely unacceptable.
Okay.
And what I would really like, because there are some people in my building that, they were talked to, some certain ways by some officers that was unacceptable. Yes, it was a high-stress situation. One of their officers got shot, but people feel like that man was left out there on display to send a message because he shot one of our own. And therefore, we're going to leave him out here to send a message that if you do this, this is how you're going to be treated. That's not fostering trust in the police department. That is not community policing. The sound of sirens now give me anxiety. But what I would like to see is the city manager, some members of council, the police chief, come to our building and have us sit down with citizens so that we can communicate how this made us feel. Because a lot of my neighbors, they don't know how to come to city council to talk.
Well, we got a chief that's very active in going to places in the community. I'll ask the city manager to let the chief know, maybe that's something I'm sure he would come out and talk to the residents of Melrose Towers.
I'm not mistaken, wasn't he on the scene?
He was.
He was.
Yeah, but he didn't talk to the rest. She's not talking about that. She's understanding that the residents understand the procedures and those kinds of things, and the dead body is just laying there. Is there a policy?
Well, I would think, Mayor, that we would need to hear the other side from the chief as well, because I don't think that they would leave a body to lay out just to send a message. So I think I understand what Deborah's saying, and I certainly appreciate that, but I just don't want to send a message that our police are letting bodies to lay just to send a message. I would have to disagree with that, and I know this is not a debate, but I just don't want that to go out into the atmosphere because I think that is totally inaccurate.
But that's how people are.
Well, that's my point. I'm not saying.
We were waiting for another alphabet agency to come and take over and, do the investigation and whatnot, but that's how people are feeling about the situation.
I'm not saying and implying at all that that's something that the police condones or does on a regular basis. I don't know. But I'm saying because people do not know.
Right.
And if the chief can bring clarity to that, then he should come over and talk to the residents. I'm sure he did that because he's going to every neighborhood, and community engagement is his forte. So that's something that people should know. People don't know. That's the problem. We don't know. Is there a policy or is not a policy? But what you do hear, what I heard, was that the state police took over the investigation, and their policies may be different from how our policy, local police, operates in their category. But I think your point is well made from the standpoint that those systems are disturbed, don't understand a lot, so who else can bring clarity to that but the chief of police?
Right.
All right?
I mean, the gentleman who, his friend was just getting in her car when it all happened. He's like, can you please go and check on her? And he was told, you need to get back. You need to get back. And he's trying to explain to the officer, my friend is in that car, can you please check on her? And he just completely dismissed him and wasn't even worried about it. He had been trying to call her on the phone and he wasn't getting an answer. He was worried. And her car actually got shot while she was in it.
Well, I understand there's confusion. You're not the only one that has brought that to our attention. You're not the only one. There are other citizens who said that about the body being there, and I'm saying the chief can bring some clarity to that so that the neighbors don't think that whatever, the procedure or this policy or what have you, because I don't know. So I'm going to ask the chief to share that if he can through the manager. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, is anybody else?
Well, I have one more sign up, but I don't believe she's here. That is Rosemary St. John? No, she left. She left, okay.
So that concludes?
That's it, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, I want to take this time to wish everybody a happy holiday season and a prosperous new year. This is our last meeting of the year 2023. So with there being no further business to come before the council, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Address this threat. And I would remind you that this is not just a U.S.